Welcome back to an emergency episode of the BASIS Phoenix podcast. Last night, Dr. Carpenter messaged me, alert everyone, we need to come back for an emergency podcast. What is this about, Dr. Carpenter?
I have breaking news that is vitally important, and that is that I have reached out to Miss Muma and fixed Asher's Spanish grade.
Let's go.
No, that is not the news. So this, I have some news that impacts myself as well as several students on campus. And because it's like the end of project week and, half the kids are still online, I didn't really have a good platform to share this. And I was like, podcast club, this is perfect. And so the news is that I will not be returning to BASIS Phoenix next year. I have taken the job of head of operations at BASIS Flagstaff.
Wow.
That's so awesome, but also
stunned silence. I love it.
Well, I was so looking forward to organic chemistry next year. Do you know anything? Like, I know last night you said no. Do you know anything about what's going to happen with that class?
So our lower school chemistry teacher, Mr. Baumgartel,
Baumgartel. Let's go.
Yeah, he taught
the Baumgartel Award.
He did a demo for us.
Yeah, so I think that he has some graduate school work in organic chemistry. So probably actually more qualified to teach organic chemistry. But it'll definitely probably be a different feel for that. So the last I heard, and obviously nothing is final and things can change because it's BASIS. So I think that is the plan, is to just slide him up to attempt to replace me, which we know is truly impossible.
Oh, of course.
No one can replace you.
And Logan was actually the first person that learned this news because I ran into her and her mom at the grocery store on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was interesting.
She was sworn to secrecy.
How did that even come up in conversation?
I had actually talked to her mom previously because her mom teaches at BASIS Phoenix Primary. What?
No, I was just saying her name, Miss Young.
Oh, there we go. And there was a possibility that I would have ended up there. And so we had kind of had that conversation of that would have been cool because we worked together. We started at the same time with BASIS. So, but,
all right.
And it was, I probably could have just said nothing, but I felt like that would have been rude. And at that point, I did not yet have the moving boxes and packing tape in my shopping cart. But I decided to let Logan earn the privilege of being first to know. So she got to celebrate longer than everybody else.
Wait, so what are you going to
have a party
as head of operations?
So head of operations is a lot of behind the scenes stuff in terms of numbers. So payroll, on-site HR, like if there's an issue that needs to be resolved between employees, then that's like line number one. Event coordination, and basically they're in charge of like the auxiliary programs coordinator, making sure everything's set up through Smart for Charters, making sure that clubs are being run, make sure that duties are being done, make sure yes, we did have someone for traffic checking things. So they're in charge of front office staff as well. So all those nice, lovely people up front that make the world go round for us. And so basically their job is just to make sure that the school is functioning, and they're in charge of everything that's not teachers and tests.
All right. So, okay, this is going to sound weird, but why'd they come to you?
So
that's so mean.
Well, I just don't see Dr. Carpenter as someone doing that.
So I actually tried to get this job last year. And I like Phoenix, but I'm kind of over it, and I miss trees, and I miss rain and seasons. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, the two places that I would really consider going are Austin, Texas, and Flagstaff. Austin is pretty small. Mm-hmm. This is in terms of BASIS. I'm pretty happy with how BASIS has treated me. I don't have any complaints about that. So I was like, yeah, I kind of would like to stay with the company. And if I stay with the company for like one more year, then my 401k match goes up. So that's like an extra $5,000 a year on top of it that I just get for free from them. And so I put in for that, and it would have been like an October start. And like I was already in the classroom and I already known the kids. And so we just kind of said it's not the right time, but they really found me intriguing as a candidate because I'm very analytical and very logistical. And I go by the book, but I know when to make exceptions from it. And they found that attractive. Flagstaff has a little bit of a different culture, I guess. So it's like, okay, we can help bring them on board to doing things how they're supposed to be done, but at the same time, not like just whiplash. And I love spreadsheets. I could live in a spreadsheet for a day, and that would be great. And that was one thing that they were really happy with. So, and it just turned around, and I got a meeting request last Wednesday. We talked about it, and they're like, hey, we know you spent some time up in Flagstaff. Are you still interested in it? And I've been training for this role for since January. Outside of school, like my free time has pretty much been dedicated to learning how to do that job. So I've already got a head start on other people. And then on Wednesday, they're also getting a new head of school, and I had a conversation with them. They seem like a great person. It seems like we're going to work together really well. And then on Friday, they made me a job offer, but they didn't give me numbers. And I was like, that's worthless. I don't know why we had this meeting. You should have just told me to wait till Monday. And then yesterday I got the numbers. It's going to be a pretty significant pay bump for me, just overall. And right now, the way that teachers' contracts are structured is that like we get a lot of bonuses throughout the year, which is great. Like I love just being like, oh yeah, there's an extra $1,000 because I showed up to work and did my job and wasn't sick and didn't have to take days off. And so like those are really great, but it means that my actual like take-home paycheck is smaller than what it would look like just like if you just looked like when I file my taxes, my take-home paycheck is smaller than that number because of those bonuses. And so moving into the head of operations role, it's just all salary. And so like I'm getting a significant pay raise, and like my take-home pay almost doubles because of this. And I'm still in the education field. Like I really am passionate about the success of children and their learning. And I know that sometimes it doesn't seem like that because I like to be mean to you all. But believe it or not, I do have your best interests at heart. And so I'm really glad to still be in the education field. And it's just, I'm going to help teachers succeed so that students succeed, because I always believe that happy teachers make happy students and happy students make happy teachers.
Well, that's what I wrote about. I was doing the brag sheet today, and I wrote about how like because it was asking like, what have you learned or something like that. And I said like, you're always trying to, like, even if you get the wrong answer, you're always trying to get that success out of people and try and help them understand it and everything.
Except for Achintia.
No, Achintia is the exception here.
Why? Why is
I
she the exception? Oh,
I don't know. I just picked him.
Oh, okay.
He's just built different.
Well, are you gonna miss teaching chemistry?
Yeah, I think so. And that's going to be a really weird situation. Like if we have to hire a chemistry teacher up there, like, am I going to be super critical of that? Because I'm like, you're terrible. Like, this is trash. But it's always something that I could go back to. Like, I don't see this as me shutting any doors. It's not like once I move into this, I could never go back into teaching.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still qualified to teach and done it for the past, 4 years. So maybe, after I do this for a few years, maybe I get bored of it. Maybe I get bored of Flagstaff. Maybe something happens. Maybe there's a life event. And I think it'll open doors because it is more of a management position.
Yeah.
And so I could really see this opening doors to like a lab management
Oh,
position, which would be really cool because sometimes I do miss the lab. Not often, but sometimes. I miss the data analysis the most, which sounds really boring, but like the actual experiments are really, really boring, and that's not where any of the fun information lies. So it's one of my big things that always bothers me with like how science is portrayed on TV and like in movies. It's like we're doing this great experiment, and then the computer just flashes up like anthrax or something like that. It's like, well, usually the experiment's like 30 minutes of prep, and then you press play, and then you wait an hour, and then it doesn't work, and you got to try it again. And where it really starts to get exciting for me, and this is why I went into analytical, is it's the data analysis. So, but coupling my PhD in chemistry with this type of management role, I think is going to be super exciting in terms of opportunities that it could open.
Yeah. Are you going to come and visit us at all next year?
I will definitely be here for graduation. I'm going to go ahead and commit to that. So, but yeah, because it gets really cold in Flagstaff, and so, and I know that the calendars aren't the same, and I also get 18 days of paid time off. So I might just come down for a long weekend and swing by campus on a Friday or something.
Oh yeah, well, definitely you have to let us know your schedule, because you definitely still need to be a series regular on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And so it's like you're getting rid of me, but I'm not going away. So.
Yeah, I think you should just make the drive like a few times a week, maybe. I think that would be easy.
But yeah, BASIS Flagstaff. What's their school like?
It's weird because it's a K-12. So they have from the tiny ones to the high schoolers. It's a beautiful campus. It has great views of the mountains. It is right next to like this big open prairie. And so I know they do a lot of like outdoors clubs and things like that. I'm under the impression that they're trying to start a garden and possibly like a greenhouse club. And so like tying back to my Alabama roots, like that would be a lot of fun for me, and that could be a pet project. Yeah, sometimes people forget that like I have had multiple stages of my life, and so like the beginning stage when I was in Alabama, like I was very agrarian, and like I was a member of FFA, Future Farmers of America, and like 4-H. I showed sheep, and I did lawnmower races. I raced dirt bikes, and then I moved to Indiana and I got into theater and science. So, but yeah, so I'm pretty excited about Flagstaff. Smaller city, better weather, weirder. I like weird. So
where is it in Flagstaff though? Because like all of us have been to Flagstaff at least once.
Yeah, so if you're like so you got NAU, and then north of that you've got like downtown Flagstaff and like the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
It's slightly northeast of that, and so like if you know where the medical center is, it's directly east of that.
Okay. So. Yeah, my uncle has a house up there, so I've been going there more often. So I kind of have an idea of where everything is. But I'm like, I know there's a BASIS up here, but I've never seen it. Yeah, I'll go visit you at BASIS.
Well, I look forward to it. I will make sure that the front office has a photograph and description of you, and you're on the do not enter list. But.
We'll bring the podcast to you.
That's right. Like you guys, if I'm gonna miss out on the room and like the actual setting of it. But
well, if you come one day, you should make it your goal to come to the fall festival, because I think we're gonna do a live booth that day.
I will try my best, because that's usually on a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Did we do that this year? We did not, right?
No.
But we did it the year before.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So if that happens, if that goes through next year, make sure that you send me a message or an email. I'm still going to be in contact with several of you, because I still have to write letters of recommendation. And this is why I said sooner rather than later for brag sheets, because like I have access to them. But yeah, I'm
because on the one that said what was your greatest accomplishment, or like what did you bring to the class? I don't remember anything I did in 9th grade honors chemistry, so I kind of just talked about how I did labs.
I will be able to write something.
You're
It-
making this difficult for him.
yeah, don't like.
But I'm also a very different person than when I was in ninth grade chemistry, and Dr. Carpenter knows who I am now as well as back then.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the nice things. That's why I like doing that back to back and and even like my freshman this year, I had as when they were sixth graders, and just being able to see that growth and like that maturation is like I would rather have someone like grow into a much better person and like a much more well-rounded person. Like I'd rather have that person that got a 1 versus someone who is a snob and doesn't know how to act and is totally childish and they got a 5. Like I'm gonna write a better letter for that person who got a 1.
No, yeah, definitely, and that's what I was thinking of because I have taken enough STEM classes to like have other teachers, but I was like, do I really talk to them outside of that one class and for many years afterward as well?
Yep. And so that's always, those letters are always easier to write whenever I know them as a person, which is something I always try and do is like, I always appreciate good students, but I prefer good people.
Mm-hmm.
And Isabella
Well, as was
is
my
okay.
case, so.
He said, and Isabella. Well, Noah, Lucas, Logan, or Isabel, do you have any questions for Dr. Carpenter?
This is your last chance if you have any secrets
I mean,
that you've
I
been
think-
dying.
I think there's only one important question, and that is, are you going to bring the poster with you?
I feel like
Oh!
I feel like that should just live in this classroom, and that should just be my legacy of J206
But what
is
if the next
sponsored
teacher
by.
Take it down.
No, but picture this. You walk into the head of
Operation.
operations of BASIS Flagstaff, and there's a princess switched again poster.
Yeah, I think you have to take
And
it.
now you have a great story. You have something to tell like a parent if they're mad at you. You can be like, oh, so my kid's from BASIS Phoenix.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true, but I mean, it's like a final memento too. If we leave it
But the
up
thing is,
in
the thing is-
J-building.
Then it's going to be up to the next teacher if they keep it or not.
Well, okay. We could do a hot potato with it and move it around to different classrooms every day.
I
Maybe-
think we're great in the head of operations office.
So I have an idea. I might put it behind the American flag, and so that way you all know that it's there, but nobody else does, and you can be like, "There's a secret about J206 or whatever room I'm in," and just be like, and then like last day, like just lift the flag and be like, "This has been here the entire time."
Right. But if there's any threat of it being taken off, we're gonna bring it back to you.
No, we can hide it in the little comforts because I have a key to them. I didn't steal it. You gave it to me.
I have so many like of these keys. I think I have hundreds.
When I went into your class with Hamar in 9th grade, this was not like theft.
Yeah, I think I remember that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that will be the plan for the, because, yeah, that way it stays, it's memorable, and it's still like a little secret. So,
All right.
Are you gonna Are you gonna put away the glassware?
the glassware's away.
Thank God. Oh, thank God. It was there since before spring break.
Yeah, well, now that I'm like leaving, I actually have to clean my stuff, and like I have to leave my classroom tidy, which it's crazy. I leave on Friday, so
I know that's really
This
weird.
Friday?
yeah, I start next Tuesday. So
Dang.
Will you work over the summer?
for that position, yes. So there's a lot of
Hey,
stuff
what do you like have to do over the summer?
So just making sure that like all the textbooks were returned, make sure that we have a plan for rolling those out. Sport tablets, same thing. And so like if you've done checkout, like that was organized by head of operations. And so there's a lot that goes into it in terms of scheduling, any type of maintenance. And for me, mostly it's just going to be learning like the different systems for like, okay, how do I make sure I don't screw up payroll and make sure that all my teachers get paid?
Yeah.
Or if someone quits, let's make sure they don't keep getting paid.
Right.
So it's just a lot of logistical stuff and a lot of things planning for the upcoming school year. So this summer will kind of suck for me, but moving forward, summer should be easier And so it'd be like half days to 2/3 days to full days. So, and just also it's like the building still exists, and like, did someone break in and defecate in the hallway, and now we have to figure out how that happened. And so part of it is just keeping a presence on campus. A lot of schools, if they offer like summer programming or like summer remediation, well, someone needs to be there. There always has to be somebody in charge. And so I give up my summers, but it works out. I'm excited.
Are you gonna wear a tie every day?
Oh God, no. So what is this, 1990?
I don't know. Maybe he might.
Are you kidding me?
I remember the few days when you did dress up in honors chemistry.
If you ever saw me in a suit, it meant I had a job interview that day.
You never looked happy on any of those days.
Well, yeah, because I was in a suit and it's 110 degrees in Phoenix. Like, it's disgusting. I might be more inclined to wear it in Flagstaff because it's colder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Also, I have a large
I think
neck.
you should keep wearing. I think you should keep wearing your bright neon green shirt. That's my favorite shirt of yours.
It's because it's the highlight of your day. I love wearing
Oh
it.
my god! Oh, that was good.
They can
Got
spot you
that.
in the crowd. You know, it'll be easy to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, yep, fine. You see the person that is blinding everyone in the nearest vicinity? That's the person you need to talk to. And it's distracting. Like, sometimes if it's a difficult conversation and I don't want the person making eye contact with me, like, just look at my shirt.
Does anyone else have any questions before we move on?
I just want to know how your cat's doing. I love your cat.
My cat is amazing. I guess his Instagram might need to come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we can.
It has to.
I need updates.
But yeah, he's doing really well. He just had 4 teeth pulled a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Just preventative stuff. Like, he wasn't in any pain or anything, but it could have turned into a problem down the road. So got that taken care of. And he's very confused because my place is currently filled with boxes, and he knows something's up, but he can't quite tell what. So that's going to be a fun 2.5-hour drive up to move him. Meow. Meow.
Oh right, we'll be in the car.
Do you think he's gonna like Flagstaff?
I think he will. He's never seen snow before, so I'm super excited to see how he does with that. So
It's colder. It'll be nice.
Yeah. How's your project week been going?
it's going. It was a little rough at first, just because I'm doing Dungeons and Dragons, and a lot of the people that signed up have never played before. Fortunately, we have some very experienced players that have been super helpful. We have way too many people. It's fine. We're making it work. And so we had a couple people, Zane and Connor, have both kind of volunteered to like run their own stuff. And so that means that Mr. Hamilton and I have fewer people in our group. So it's been way more manageable. And like I had all this like plan. I was like, okay, every day I'm gonna make like PowerPoint. It's gonna be super interactive, and so the kids online can see what's going on. But I've been packing until like 8 or 9 o'clock pretty much every day since Friday, and so that's gone out the window, and I'm just kind of winging it. Which fortunately I'm really good at making up BS, so it's great.
Have the board games been working well?
No, apparently the children are incapable of reading and don't want to spend the time to learn the rules, so they are just watching soccer and playing with a bouncy ball, which is a little unfortunate, but it works out. So I'm a little upset. Like, if I was back next year, I was definitely going to try and make it a club. Not coming back next year. Maybe Mr. Hamilton will run it. I don't know.
Clubs as the head of operations.
It's just I'm usually going to be on call, making sure that there aren't any issues with late bird or pickup, and so like those times the clubs normally run, I'm going to be super busy.
Yeah.
So, and also that's usually like when teachers aren't teaching, and so anytime that there needs to be a meeting with them, that tends to be when that happens.
That's our podcast club time too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, I can block off and say that I have a meeting with BASIS.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to block off time. There's no time
Yeah.
for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. So I'll block that off, and If people are like, what's your meeting with BASIS? Oh, it's important things to talk about. And I'll just, leave off that it's the BASIS Phoenix Podcast Club.
Confidential.
That's above your pay grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
They can wait until next week and then listen to the episode. We'll get listeners.
Perfect. Yeah, no, make an incentive. All your teachers, they'll get, a little $5 bonus if they listen to
That's
the
bribery.
next episode of the
That's
BASIS Phoenix
bribery.
podcast.
It's going to be interesting. Maybe we'll see.
That is, I'm sure that counts as bribery. After.
Yeah, absolutely. Textbook.
Well, so all the BASISes are going to be back in person next year, aren't they? Unless you choose that online one.
Yep. So, not sure about masks. My suspicion is that, man, I really don't know. I could see them going for recommended. I could see them going optional if you're vaccinated now that Pfizer's been approved for 12 to 17 and Moderna is going to apply. So that one should be getting out soon too. So we'll see. I think it'll probably be optional, but recommended.
All right.
Would
There's-
they require for you to show your vaccine card?
I don't think that's legal.
Well, because the school they ask for health
Yeah, that's true.
the shots you had to get when you were 13.
But also-
those are required.
But the COVID vaccine isn't FDA approved. My parents can't ask their caregivers to get back. They can't mandate a vaccination because it's not FDA
that
approved.
might be different.
That could change here in the next month or two, though. So
Yeah, that's true.
who knows? We might start the first month masks required and then go from there.
Mhm.
But we'll see what happens.
Do you know if we're gonna continue using Teams for certain things?
I am under the impression that Teams is not coming back for students.
Interesting.
I
That's a shame because I like it. It's really easy to contact our teachers
I'm
that way.
down.
I know. I
And-
like how they organize the assignments and all that. It's really easy. It's much better than
Yeah.
a CJ.
I think the issue comes down. I think it's just a cost thing that we did it this year because we did have the federal funding, but it's expensive for that many kids, and so I liked it. At first, I didn't because I didn't really understand it, but it replaces your CJ, and if you
Yeah.
miss class, then there's a recording,
Mhm.
and so that's something that I would, if I were teaching next year, I would still record my lessons, and I would upload them to a private YouTube channel or something.
Mhm.
But what other people choose to do, I don't know. But I'm under the impression that they're keeping it for teachers and getting rid of it for students. So teachers can communicate in departmental meetings and stuff like that. Super easy to do, super useful. But yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we're going back to the CJ.
All right.
Let's go.
Noah, you should think of your question while we still have time.
Asher, there is no question.
No, there has to be a question.
This is not a real episode, Asher. No
It's an
question.
emergency episode. We have to have a final question for Dr. Carpenter of season 1.
Season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1.5.
Yeah. Are there any remaining questions for Dr. Carpenter? I think I made the Instagram too vague, and so we didn't get anything.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's weird because we have so many thousands of listeners everywhere. Weird that none of them like questions.
Yeah. Well, you should tell your BASIS Flagstaff people about the BASIS Phoenix podcast. Maybe we'll get a bigger audience.
Actually, I think one of the things that they need is more extracurriculars, and so I could definitely plug you guys as an example of a really fun club that has a lot of impact in terms of developing you as professionals, because sometimes it's hard to have conversations with an adult when you're a teenager, because you're not really sure what that dynamic is. And so sometimes to just kind of take down those barriers, it can really help connect not only with that teacher but with the kids as well. And that was whenever I listened to the episode with Mr. Morris, I had no idea that he was in Chicago before he was out here. So even just for me, like I learned a lot about my coworkers. So.
Yeah. And all the teachers, like I got teachers asking me, like, "Oh, when am I going to be on the podcast?"
Miss Cooper is still very angry at you.
Okay, that was because I didn't know she doesn't go to her Monday student hours.
You could have asked me. I have her. You have her.
I have her, and I know she. That's why I knew she had Monday student hours. So I was like,
Also,
well, she's busy on Mondays.
No, don't make excuses. You forgot half the time.
I also did forget to bring guests multiple times.
Yeah, that's why I was the emergency backup, because you knew my Mondays were always
I am
free.
going to have to join this club officially and step into an organizational role.
Well, we're expanding into sports commentating next year, which I think is going to be super cool.
How did the because that there was like a little preview of that with the staff student volleyball game. Yeah, I
have no idea how it went. I don't know where to get access to listen to it or anything. I just know
it probably wasn't recorded.
I asked Will about it and he left me on red. So
yeah. It was recorded, but we're definitely
good thing you're used to that, Logan.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Dr. Carpenter, you leave me on red all the
time. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Podcast Club next year. And I mean, I was writing this on my brag sheet because it was like talking about accomplishments and stuff. And I this is not the first club I've started, but something
it's
about
the first one you followed through with.
Well, no, I followed through with other ones. Film club.
How long did that last?
2 years.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 1.
Yeah.
We did in 8th grade and 9th grade, and then I don't remember why we didn't do it last year. And then
it was like Merkley or something.
It was Merkley in 8th grade and Morris in 9th grade. Film club did last. But like there's something about this one that I don't know. I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially with none of us knowing how to do podcasts at all.
Asher, did you check out today?
My books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still have your name tag on your shirt.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, no, something about this, like maybe it's just because like we did it even though like we were all at home, like we still managed to do something, and I'm very proud with how it turned out.
Yeah, I think it's been a huge success, and I'm now going to flip. I know it usually ends with Noah asking your guest a question. I'm actually going to ask you all a question, and my question is: what is more insulting, to see a message and not read it, and so that you're not left on red, or to leave on red?
Leave on red.
Because it means I took
that's why I just don't open any messages.
And I ignored you.
Yeah.
Like I did not respect you enough to give you a response. Not reading someone's message could mean I don't have time to respond to you right now, or don't have the time for a conversation right now.
Like when Mr. Crane left me.
I don't know. 5 months. It depends on how long you leave someone undelivered, right? Because you obviously know when someone's ignoring you.
Sometimes someone will I'll send a message, they'll read it immediately and just not
respond. It's like, really? That's why my status is always set as away, so that if someone messages me and my status is available, it doesn't feel like I'm actively ignoring them.
You probably just left them speechless. That's it.
My favorite is to read the message in the preview and then not open it, and then go and talk to that person about it, and then just never respond to the message. Just never open it.
That works.
Or send emojis.
Never. Absolutely not. Actually, I did to Isabella. I did the little shrug guy because I had no idea if I was going to have access to her thing. So that's fair.
Talk to the guy of receipts. And how do I even respond to that? What? I don't want to leave you on red, so what do I do?
It's a great question. It's the philosophical question of the age.
Can't respond with
That's when you respond with the emo guy emoji.
Oh, man.
All right, well, we're pretty much out of time, but thank you so much, Dr. Carpenter, for such a fantastic year and being such a great teacher, and we all wish you luck.
4 years.
Well, okay, I'm talking about specifically the year of
all the other years were bad.
2 years.
So I finally got my together for this year is what you're telling me.
Well, we wish you luck as the head of operations, and we will see you next year for season 2 of Podcast Club.
Next week?
Next year.
Oh, okay. Phew. You scared me. I was like,
Instagram account for
You're on
Zcap.
tomorrow.
Start the
I
Zsu
need to see
Instagram
your
account.
cat. I love
Can
it.
we follow you on Twitter?
I'm sure I never use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But-
Okay, whatever.
I think the only time I used it was to call out that one person that we had come speak who was
Yeah.
just kind of like insulting.
I remember
Oh, yeah.
that.
So, yeah. All right, folks. It's been an absolute pleasure. You will be missed, and you will definitely see me again.
All right. All right. Goodbye, Dr. Carpenter.
See you, folks.